put
Okay.
this one in here. How
Okay.
do I handle finances once I get married?
You don't. You let your wife do all the work. That's what I
I
chose.
mean,
It worked out.
you're not wrong. But so the thing that I've gotten, so I have been spending some time the last few weeks on the marriage subreddit, partially to see how bad other people got it, so I can feel better about my marriage.
You don't want to
my
gloat. You want to feel better about your crappy marriage. Got it.
no, my marriage is quite good, but um, it's made me realize just how good my marriage is, especially. But the one thing that I see whenever finances come up in these posts is how many people live with, this is my money, this is her money,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then we have a joint account that we both put money into for the bills.
Which
and
is
and so
actually fairly brilliant.
and so I've seen that a lot. And that, to be completely blunt, that never crossed my mind. Like it was very
Mm.
natural. Okay, and it's probably because of my mentality, or maybe it's just my perception of other people's mentality that's off. Um, but there is a distinct culture of, if it doesn't work out, I can get a divorce. That has never been my
So you
mindset.
you think that's what you're reading that into that?
Uh, and that could be a very false perception, and I acknowledge that that could be very false, and in a lot of cases it likely is false. But I have also seen people who they literally state, we keep our finances separate in case of divorce. So I have seen that there are people that live like that. And so I just, how did you go about when it came to finances? Did you blend your finances together? Because
Oh yeah.
that was one of the very first things we did. Is I closed my bank account and I got added to my wife's, and so we had the one bank account.
One
um
bank account to rule them all.
yeah, and we never looked back, because there are next to zero instances where we would get a divorce unless there was abuse or infidelity. And we knew that going into it, that we would work through any other issues
So
together.
the question I have, what take out the what other people put into it. Oh, keep yourself. If you aren't worried about divorce, what doesn't make sense logically about having the separate bank accounts?
um I guess it just fuels, in my mind it fuels that you're not one, that you're
I
not
okay. So I'll tell my
unified.
part. Um, that's kind of where it came from, but I'm in a different mindset now, and I'll tell you where we are. And Steve Harvey broke it down really well, and he talked about that. What helped his marriage is that kind of thing: his bank account, her bank account, Bill's bank account. But also, I don't know what his wife does for a living or how that works. But obviously, Steve Harvey has all kind of income, whatever, and he doesn't seem to not take care of his kids, any of that stuff. When we first got married, uh, Erin actually proposed that. It's like because she had been independent for a little while, a year or two, and I'd been independent for about the same, of earning your own money and paying your own bills, and to a point, right? So she was used to, okay, I just want to know that we can manage things, and I said that to her, what you were talking about, that it I didn't use the words, it doesn't feel unified, but I was like, why would we be separate? We should be together. And I'm sure I threw some stupid Bible verses at her or something like that. And ultimately, we had the one account, and then we always had a savings account. And then uh, there was time when I was paying the bills, and her brother was paying her to drive up and stay with him and do things and this and that and other. So she just kind of kept cash as her own thing. It was almost like a temperature gauge to see how it goes. And now where we're at, I have a business account that's mine. Uh, we have a joint account. We have a joint savings account. I have a business savings account. And people say, "Oh, it's different." It's not really different. When I'm talking about it, I don't run yet. I'm getting there. I see the steps coming. I don't run enough business through my business account to go, okay, that's the business. It's just my account, right? I have, I don't know, half dozen PayPal accounts with money floating around in them. Um, but she, at some point, when her grandfather was getting his stuff together, right? I guess he saw the incoming or whatever, just knew he needed to get affairs in order. He had her open up a separate account that basically he started hiding. They wanted to get a security box, whatever. And he started hiding money and stuff under her. It's a thing. Um, at least that's what he intended. Didn't really play out that way because Aaron's not the kind of person that hides from anybody. It's like, no, this isn't whatever. But so she don't get an account. Well, then she started working roadie and Lyft and making some money again, right? And I was like, yeah, have your own account because I needed it separate at that point. Now this is last couple of years at this point in the story, right? We're within since COVID, and the multiple accounts were like, oh, for us, it made sense. Like, this account, business is for business, or I know this. For me, I treated the main account as a bills account. We have paid the bills. All her fuel's taken care of out of that. All of her groceries, everything's there. She has this other account that needs separate because she likes to do all this stuff for the kids and get them into baseball camps and rec ball and this and that and other. Well, I'm like, I need to be able to look at the bills account and the way our brains work now. And for the record, for those of you new to the show, 23 years on my first marriage, so it's okay. We're working it out. I'm practicing for the second marriage. I'll be better, I promise.
One of
So,
these days, because you say that so
I
much,
do.
one of
I
these
do.
days you're gonna be like, hey, let's renew our vows so we can move on to our second marriage and it'll be better.
Hey, once the last kid graduates and moves out, maybe. Uh, uh, so yeah, for functionality, it's like she needed the freedom mentally to go, okay, this money here, be it in a drawer and cash envelopes, was what she did for a long time. And it also protected it, right? If it's not in the bills account, we don't look at it and go, oh, look, we have X amount of money left over and we missed something because we forgot a bill or we go spend it on food or whatever. If it's in cash somewhere, it's harder to get past your brain and going, okay, I gotta go get it. Now I gotta go spend on this and stuff. So she needed that freedom to flow with, oh, I'm gonna sign the kids up for this and that. And she could look at her account and go, well, I don't have the money. And that's where it stops, right? As opposed to looking at the bank account going, I think all the bills are paid. It looks like we have extra money. And then, she would talk to me and I'd be like, well, if we have the money, whatever. And same with the business. Like today, when I use my business account to buy the cable, that hardwired laptop, because, one, I can track it for tax purposes, so on and so forth. So that's how we handle it now. But we did the exact same thing when it started. And the reason I brought up the years of marriage and all that is at first I absolutely believed it was all about the unity. But the older we got and the longer we were married and the more that life changed, I grew up in a traditional household where one income, one bank account. And I think that's still probably fairly normal through the South and the Midwest and whatnot. I mean, there's no such thing as normal, but not unusual, I guess I should say. And there's nothing wrong with it. There was a point in time when we both wanted to have, I hate the word allowances because it sounds so childish, but still that freedom.
Some discretionary money for yourself.
There you go. That's the adult word, discretionary funds. And we just take it out and put it in cash envelopes, which is the same thing basically as having separate bank accounts. But that way I knew, oh, I want Taco Bell. Oh man, I only got like $5. So I can't go to Taco Bell, man. And that kind of thing.
Especially not nowadays.
No. Well, even nowadays, though, Taco Bell's still one of the cheapest and best foods out there. Run for the border. Ding. I'm trying to get a sponsor, okay? I love Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. I eat it like once a week. It's the best. And it's still one of the most affordable out there. Anyway, do you see what I'm saying? That the functionality of, okay, Joe,
but are you on that separate account with your wife, or do you not even know how much is in it?
It wouldn't be a separate account if I was on it.
Well,
I guess you could have. No, you could. You're right. You could. It doesn't. No, I don't know what's in it. I don't care. But I get it. We could have set it up in the chain of our accounts. It happened to be at another bank, and she asked me if I wanted to be on it. I was like, nah,
See, yeah,
it literally does nothing for my life, so I don't need to know it.
we have multiple accounts, but we are on all of them together.
So so for you, separate accounts is you don't see it as opposed to different accounts.
Correct.
So, okay, in the scenario then, you could have a discretionary fund account that's Joe's fund money. You could have Kelsey's account that is buy kids shoes, and then you could have the Bills account.
Yeah. But we're on all of them.
I think functionally we're talking about the same thing. So honestly, I didn't even think about if people say, well, she has her account, I have my account. I didn't think about like separate, I can't touch it, I can't see it. But also
there are at least according to the Reddit, and I've heard of other people where they literally keep completely separate accounts. My paycheck goes in here, my paycheck goes in here, and then they deposit whatever they agree upon into the joint account for common costs, common expenses. Yeah. So, but yeah.
I mean, I mean, whether I can see it or not, the functionality is the trust, and I it's more balanced that way in my opinion, because for 20 some odd, not quite 20 years, about 15 years so, I was the only income. I had to pay so I had to pay the bills. Anything else I wanted to do, I had to hustle extra. So to build everything I've built with my podcasting empire and all the stuff that goes into the softwares and the hosting and everything else, I've had to wait for tax money to come back. And even then, I always volunteered to give her like 70% of the tax money. I took 30%, and that 30% was my investment for the year of what I'm going to do for podcasting. And I think a better balance is, oh, your paycheck goes in that account, mine goes in this one, and we're both paying the bills. Hoorah! Let's do it. Thanks for sharing.
And perhaps because of my perception, since we've been married, since we had kids, I should say, we've been a single income household. Before we had kids, my wife did work. I mean, I was still finishing school after she got her degree, so she worked and I worked, and we made it work. But yeah, so ever since I graduated college, which was like 2 weeks after our first kid was born, we've been a single household income. And so, at that point, my wife doesn't have an income, so why would she have a separate account? And so that could be a very different perspective from a lot of the world where it's a dual income household.
And some people don't even choose dual income. I mean, I think if I know Erin likes feeling useful out in the world. It did give her a taste of something different to do. But if I could provide the life that we both want for ourselves, and she could just hang out with the kids and just do the fun bits in life, she would absolutely love that. She wouldn't want another job. But some people want to always work, and that's cool. And some people, have to have dual income households. But
more often than not, they have to have dual income households. It's becoming increasingly rare that people can get by with a single income household. And I know, at least personally, we have made a lot of sacrifices in general to have a single household income, a single income household. And that is a choice. It is a lifestyle choice. But so anyway,
I get you. That's a good question.
But ultimately, I think you hit the nail on the head. As long as there's trust and it's working for you, that's what matters.
And cut Kelsey off some cheese to go play with her every once in a while, Daddy Warbucks. Can't keep her locked up in the basement all her life.
We don't have
pretty.
We don't have enough money for cheese.
Actually, so we just buy the Cheese Wheeze. It's not the Cheese Whiz. That's name brand. Cheese Wheeze. But it can sit on the store shelf for 3 years. Not have a problem.
It comes in a can.
I've had canned cheese. It's okay. It's okay. not okay.
You with your fancy jars or blocks of cheese or sticks of cheese. How dare you?
Oh my God. Here, roll some dice while I tell this too. But I remember growing up and my mom would buy a block of cheese and we weren't supposed to touch it because that's the cheese she was going to shred. Because when they started making shredded cheese in a bag, it was stupid expensive. What's funny is in the 80s and 90s, it was stupid expensive. It's practically the same price now. So it's nothing to go buy a big thing of shredded cheese in a bag for $3. But $3 when I was a kid, apparently, and it just hasn't changed. That industry
Well,
hasn't
it's
changed so much.
buying it by the block instead of shredded saves you just a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't save you a lot.
We
Now.
we actually buy by the block specifically because they add a lot of additives to shredded cheese to make sure it doesn't clump.
Okay. Yeah,
And so we wanted to remove that from our eating habits. So we buy blocks of cheese and shred it ourselves, and it does clump, but we make it work, deal with it.
yeah. I mean, it's fun. What I marvel at is that was like a block of gold when I was a kid. I had that bag mom come a little bit, and she sliced me a little bit, or would she shred it in the food processor? We get little cheese curds. You know, they're not really cheese curds, but you know the little lumps, whatever. And now it's like, look, we can $10 for 5 blocks of cheese. Let's go. You know, everybody's eating cheese tonight for dinner.